Happy Monday, folks. Happy Labor Day to all of you. Um, I'm here with my guy Jim Berenger to talk some hockey. It's always great to talk hockey with him. And I always listen to my go-to hockey podcast, which is Full Press NHL. Love that podcast. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Jim, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yo, happy Labor Day. Miguel, thank you for those kind words. Yes, go to NHL podcast for everybody, Full Press NHL. Had some great guests this past week. David Alter was on, Sean Reynolds. We're going to drop one this week with Rob Simpson talking about Canucks and Kraken. So keep your ears posted for that one because that was a fun conversation. A lot of good things coming that way. But yes, here on a Monday, let's talk some hockey.
Yes, and I'm gonna kick things off with the Vancouver Canucks. They're in a very tough division with Vegas, Edmonton, Kings. All of them are better than Vancouver. Obviously, the Canucks got better in the offseason. But two questions for you. Can they make the playoffs? And if so, if they could make the playoffs, do you think they should go with in order to make the playoffs, should they go with a all center veteran rotation?
So here's the deal. The Vancouver Canucks make the playoffs if Thatcher Demko's healthy and Thatcher Demko's playing like Thatcher Demko can play. That's how the Vancouver Canucks make the playoffs. It is a very, very tough division. Calgary's better. We know LA's better. We know the defending Stanley Cup champions are there. They're not going anywhere. The Oilers are there. It's very tough for them to make the playoffs. Look, they have a lot of question marks down the middle. Obviously, what is Elias Pettersson going to do, Petey? He needs a new deal. He hasn't signed an extension yet. Doesn't sound like he's going to want to negotiate during the season. Quinn Hughes is a great defenseman. Outside of that, they've got some mix and match of third and fourth line guys that are going to try to play some top line minutes. But it is Quinn Hughes and everybody else. Look, for me, it's going to be a tough road for the Canucks. I just don't see them making the playoffs. And they definitely need help down the middle, no doubt. I mean, JT Miller's great. It's a good signing. Look, you bring back Andrei Kuzmenko. You have Ilya Mikheyev. Is he healthy enough? What about guys like Niels Hoglander? He's a draft pick. They want him to progress, but he hasn't. It's going to be tough for this Canucks team. Look, Rick Tocchet's a good coach. We saw what he did, but again, expectations at the end of last year, the way they were playing, can they translate it into this year? It's going to be tough. The Pacific is so wide open.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why people are intrigued by the Canucks, because the way they ended their second half with their new head coach. But, it's a very tough division. But speaking of Demko, how many wins do you think, if you have to predict how many wins, if he's healthy?
If he's healthy, I mean, he's got to go in the 30s for this team to make the playoffs. I mean, look, we when he gets going, there was a phrase that was coined during the bubble in 2020 called Bubble Demko. He basically put the Vancouver Canucks on his back to get him to Game 7 against the Vegas Golden Knights in that semifinal run before Vegas ended up losing to Dallas. Look, he's got to be close to 30, above that for the Canucks to have any chance. I mean, he is the number one guy there.
Switching gears to the Toronto Maple Leafs, they signed head coach Sheldon Keefe for a 2-year contract extension. He'll be under contract through the 2025-26 season. He's been the head coach since 2019 for the Maple Leafs. He has posted a 166, 71, and 30 record during the regular season, and they have recorded a .622 winning percentage. Although that is impressive, but this is the same head coach who got out-coached by the Panthers head coach, Paul Maurice, in the postseason. They got over the hump in terms of getting out the first round, but now the pressure is super on for everyone in that organization, because you have a team that is this talented and they need to go far. So what do you make of this signing?
I think it's a good deal. It's 2 years. Look, there's a couple things we take away from it, right? The Leafs don't want to have questions in a storyline all season about their coach, the extension, similar to what they went through last year with Kyle Dubas. Keefe has job security. He's got at least 3 seasons. Okay, he's got this year and 2 more to improve this team and get them past around further in the playoffs, and they have to make a deep run this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts anymore. There's no more progress. There is no, okay, we went to, no. They have to make a significant deep run in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And when I was talking with guys on the podcast, you know, Ken Campbell interviewed Alexander McGillney one time when he was in Toronto, the year that they went to the conference final in 2002. And he's like, I don't know what these guys are celebrating about. Remember, McGillney was on the Devils team that won a cup in 2000 and the team that went back in 2001. He didn't understand what guys were celebrating when they only made it halfway through the playoffs and got to the conference final. So this team needs to make a very, very deep run. Look, Keefe's done well. Regular season success. You know, I was listening to somebody and they brought this stat up. If you look at Keefe, he has one of the best winning percentages in NHL history among coaches who have coached 200 or 50 more regular season games. That's about 3 seasons. Look, this is based on regular season success. Now, they bring in Guy Boucher. They've changed the bench up a little bit to help him. And the big thing is, Brad Treliving has said, is that Sheldon doesn't have all the answers. He's admitted that. He has strong beliefs, but he's willing to change and understand and adapt. So that's a good thing. And when you bring in different coaches, that's what they're going to need to do. I think it's a fair deal because we don't know what the direction of this team is going to be in a couple of years. Obviously, we're probably going to get to Austin Matthews an extension. The William Nylander extension that, you know, he has no problem with. But again, with Matthews, like the 4 years, that's a good deal for both sides because we don't know what the direction of this team's going to be that long. Instead of signing, say they signed Keefe to 4-year deal, right? No, everybody knows he ain't making it 4 years. So 2 years, okay, we'll see where it goes. And if they have to change, they have to change. But Treliving, when he took over in Calgary, kept Bob Hartley. Bob Hartley ended up winning the Jack Adams that year. I'm not saying Sheldon Keefe's going to win the Jack Adams, but he believes in the staff that's there. And who else is out there that's better at this point?